My name is Maisie Preston. I'm 29 years old. At family dinner last night, my mother looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Pay your brother's $82,000 mortgage right now, or you and that 5-year-old little parasite get the hell out of my house tonight. I'm done carrying freeloaders." I told her I couldn't. My mother shot up from her chair and raised her hand to slap me right in front of my daughter. At that exact second, the front door swung open. A man in a suit walked in, holding a thick folder. My mother's face went ghost white. Her hand froze in midair. They had no idea. They had no idea I'd discovered the truth 3 months ago. They had no idea I'd already called the police. And what happened in the next 60 seconds destroyed their entire world. I need to back up. I need to tell you how I ended up sitting at that table, being threatened in front of my daughter, in a house I'd been told wasn't mine. Because here's the thing, nobody knew. I'd been paying my mother $1,850 every single month for 3.5 years. 42 payments. I'd donated plasma twice a week to afford it. I'd skipped lunch at work. I'd bought my daughter's clothes at Goodwill. I'd worked summer school every year and still barely scraped by. And the entire time, I thought I owed her. I thought I was the one who should be grateful. But 3 months ago, I found a piece of paper that changed everything. And last night, when my mother raised her hand to hit me, that man walked through the door holding proof of what she'd done. Let me tell you what led to that moment. The dinner invitation came 3 days earlier, a text from my mother. "Family dinner, Sunday, 6:30. Don't be late. We need to talk about Austin." Austin is my brother. He's 4 years older than me. And he's always been the golden child. When we were kids, he got the new bike. I got his old one. He got college paid for. I got student loans. He got praised for showing up. I got criticized for not doing enough. But this wasn't about childhood anymore. This was about money. Austin had called me 2 weeks before the dinner. His voice was tight with panic. "Maisie, I need your help. The bank's threatening foreclosure on my condo. I'm 4 months behind on payments. I need $82,000 by Friday, or I lose everything." I was standing in my classroom after school, erasing the whiteboard. Second graders had left their drawings all over it, stick figures holding hands, houses with crooked chimneys. "Austin, I don't have $82,000. You have savings. You have Nathan's life insurance money." Nathan was my husband. He died almost 5 years ago. COVID took him when our daughter Sophie was only 5 months old. "That money's gone," I said. "I spent it." "On what?" "Living." There was a long pause. Then his voice changed, colder. "Mom said you'd say that. She said you'd be selfish about this." I stopped erasing. "Selfish?" "You've been living in her house for 5 years, Maisie. You pay basically nothing in rent. You owe this family." I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell him I paid $1,850 every month, and it wasn't nothing. That I'd co-signed his loan 3 years ago and had to cover his missed payments when he disappeared. That I'd worked myself to exhaustion trying to keep up. But I'd learned a long time ago that arguing with Austin was pointless. "I can't help you," I said quietly. "Then don't come to dinner. Because if you show up empty-handed, Mom's done with you." He hung up. I should have stayed home that night. I should have kept Sophie away. But part of me still believed, stupidly, desperately, that if I showed up, if I explained, they'd understand. So on Sunday evening, I dressed Sophie in her favorite purple dress. She was 5 years old now, the same age I'd been when my father died. She had Nathan's eyes and his smile. "Where are we going, Mommy?" "To Grandma's house." Her face fell. "Is Uncle Austin going to be there?" "Yes, baby. I don't like when he yells." I crouched down to her level. "I know, but it'll be okay. I promise." I was lying. I didn't know if it would be okay. But what else could I say? We pulled into the driveway at 6:20. I'd left the front door of the house unlocked that morning before work. Something I'd arranged with Daniel, though Sophie didn't know about that. I'd texted him at 7:15. Come in when you arrive. Don't knock. My mother opened the door before I could ring the bell. She was wearing a beige cardigan and pearl earrings, the same ones she wore to church every Sunday. She looked at Sophie first, then at me. You're late. We're 10 minutes early. She ignored that. Austin's already here, let's not keep him waiting. The dining room table was set with her good china, the white plates with gold trim that only came out for holidays, or when she wanted to make a point. A pot roast sat in the center of the table, still steaming. Roasted carrots, mashed potatoes. It looked like a normal family dinner. But nothing about this was normal. Austin was sitting at the far end of the table, scrolling through his phone. He was wearing a button-down shirt that probably cost more than my weekly grocery budget. He barely looked up when we walked in. Hey, sis. I didn't answer. I helped Sophie into her chair, then sat down beside her. My mother took her seat at the head of the table. She folded her hands and smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Let's say grace. We bowed our heads. My mother thanked God for the food, for family, for blessings. I felt Sophie's small hand slip into mine under the table. When we opened our eyes, my mother started serving. She piled food onto Austin's plate first, a thick slice of roast, a mountain of potatoes. Then she served herself. Then, finally, me and Sophie. Sophie picked up her fork and poked at a carrot. She was quiet, watchful. She always got quiet around my family. We ate in silence for maybe 5 minutes. The only sounds were forks scraping plates and the clock ticking on the wall. Then my mother set down her fork. Maisie, we need to talk. I looked at her. Your brother is in trouble. The bank is going to foreclose on his condo if he doesn't come up with $82,000 by Friday. I didn't say anything. Austin finally looked up from his plate. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious, Maisie. I'm going to lose everything. I don't have that kind of money. My mother's expression hardened. Yes, you do. You have Nathan's life insurance. You have savings. No, I don't. I spent it. On what? Austin's voice was sharp now, accusatory. Rent, daycare, groceries, living. My mother laughed, but there was no humor in it. Rent? You think $18.50 a month is rent? Maisie, apartments in Seattle cost $3,000. I've been letting you live here practically for free. I've paid you over $77,000 in the last 4 years. And I've given you a roof over your head. I took you in when you had nowhere else to go. When Nathan died and you were too broken to function, who was there? Me. And this is how you repay me? Sophie's fork clattered onto her plate. She was staring at her grandmother with wide eyes. Mommy, why is Grandma mad? I put my hand on Sophie's shoulder. It's okay, baby. Grown-up stuff. But my mother wasn't done. She leaned forward, her voice rising. You've always been the golden child, haven't you? Dad's favorite. Nathan spoiled you. And now you think you're too good to help your own brother? That's not... Austin has done everything for this family, my mother continued. He helped me after your father died. He's been there for me in ways you never were. Austin nodded, emboldened. I've been carrying this family for years while you played teacher and pretended you were better than us. I felt something crack inside me, not break, crack, like ice over a frozen lake. I've given you everything I have, I said quietly. I co-signed your loan when you asked. I covered your payments when you didn't. I've worked 2 jobs. I've donated plasma. You've been a freeloader, my mother cut in. You and that child have been living off me for 5 years. The least you can do is help your brother when he's drowning. Sophie's eyes filled with tears. She looked at me, confused and scared. That child has a name, I said. Her name is Sophie. Don't lecture me about what I call my own granddaughter. I glanced at the clock on the wall. 7:28. I can't help Austin, I said. My voice was steady now. Cold. I don't have the money. My mother's face twisted. She pushed back from the table and stood up. Her chair scraped against the floor with a sound like a scream. Then you have until Friday to pack, both of you, out of my house. Mom. I'm done carrying freeloaders. Her voice cracked with rage. I've been patient. I've been kind. I've let you stay here out of the goodness of my heart. But if you can't help your own brother, you're not welcome here anymore. Sophie started crying. Quiet tears, trying to be good, trying not to make noise. Austin crossed his arms. That's fair. You've been mooching long enough, Maisie. I looked at my mother. At this woman who'd raised me, who'd held me when my father died, who'd promised to always be there for me. I can't, I said again. My mother raised her hand. Not a slap. Not yet. But the threat was clear. Her hand hung in the air between us, trembling with fury. Sophie saw it. She whispered, "Mommy," and I felt her small body press against mine. For a second I thought my mother might actually do it. Hit me. Right there. In front of my daughter. Then the front door swung open. Footsteps in the hallway. Steady. Deliberate. Expensive shoes on hardwood. A man walked into the dining room. He was wearing a dark suit and holding a thick manila folder. His expression was neutral, professional. He looked at each of us, Austin, my mother, me, Sophie, and then his eyes settled on my mother. My mother's hand dropped. The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. She sat down hard, gripping the edge of the table. Austin turned around. What the hell? Who are you? The man reached into his jacket and pulled out a badge. He held it up so we could all see it. Daniel Whitmore, Senior Investigator with the King County Title Fraud Division. The room went silent. Even Sophie stopped crying. Daniel's eyes stayed on my mother. Carol Preston? My mother didn't answer. She was staring at the folder in his hand like it was a bomb. Austin stood up. This is private property. You can't just walk in here without— I was invited, Daniel said calmly. He looked at me. By the property owner. Austin's mouth opened, then closed. Daniel walked to the table and set the folder down in front of my mother. He didn't open it yet. He just stood there, waiting. Mrs. Preston, I need to speak with you about a quitclaim deed recorded with King County on July 22, 2021. My mother's hands were shaking. She clasped them together in her lap. This property, Daniel continued, gesturing around the room. This house. Austin looked at my mother. What is he talking about? Daniel opened the folder. He pulled out a single sheet of paper and placed it on the table facing my mother. It was a side-by-side comparison of two signatures, both blown up to 400%. On the left, Maisie Preston, 2020 deed, known exemplar. On the right, Maisie Preston, 2021 quitclaim deed, disputed signature. This signature, Daniel said pointing to the left, is Maisie Preston's real signature. It's from the deed recorded in September 2020 when her husband purchased this house and put it in her name. He moved his finger to the right. This signature is from a quitclaim deed filed on July 22, 2021. It claims to transfer ownership of this property from Maisie Preston to Carol Preston. He looked up at my mother. Forensic analysis confirms these signatures do not match. The 2021 signature is a forgery. The silence that followed was absolute. Austin stared at the paper, then at my mother, then back at the paper. Mom, he said slowly, did you— Shut up, Austin. My mother's voice was barely a whisper. Daniel pulled out another document, a bank statement. He set it on the table next to the signature comparison. On August 12, 2021, You took out a mortgage for $120,000 on this property, a property you claim to own, based on a forged deed. He pulled out another page. My Venmo payment history. On September 30th, 2021, Maisie Preston began making monthly payments to you, $1,850, for 42 consecutive months. He looked at me. His voice softened slightly. She paid you $77,700 to live in her own house. My mother's hands were shaking so badly she had to grip the edge of the table to keep them still. Austin was still standing, staring at the documents spread across the table like they were written in a language he couldn't read. That's not possible, he said. Maisie, you must have signed something and forgotten. You were grieving. You weren't thinking clearly. She didn't forget. Daniel's voice was flat, matter of fact. We've done a full forensic analysis. Pressure points, stroke angles, baseline slant, loop formations. The signature on the 2021 quitclaim deed doesn't even come close to matching her known exemplars. This isn't a case of handwriting variation, it's fraud. He pulled out another document, a bank statement with a single line highlighted in yellow. On August 15, 2021, Carol Preston transferred $80,000 to Austin Preston. The memo line reads, "Family loan." This was 1 month after she took out the fraudulent mortgage. Austin's face went pale. I didn't know. Didn't you? Daniel looked at him. You received $80,000 from your mother 1 month after she committed mortgage fraud. You used $35,000 of it as a down payment on your condo in November 2023. You spent $42,000 on cryptocurrency investments that you lost. $28,000 went to paying off credit cards. He paused. You've been living in a condo purchased with proceeds of fraud. That makes you complicit, Mr. Preston, whether you knew at the time or not. Austin sat down hard. His hands went to his head. Sophie was still pressed against my side, her small body trembling. I put my arm around her and pulled her close. It's okay, baby, I whispered. It's almost over. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Daniel looked at my mother again. Mrs. Preston, I'm recommending the King County Prosecutor's Office file charges for mortgage fraud, forgery, and identity theft. These are felonies. You're looking at 5 to 10 years in prison and up to $250,000 in fines. My mother finally found her voice. It was small, broken. I was trying to help the family. You forged your daughter's signature, Daniel said. You stole her house. You took out a mortgage on stolen property. Then you extorted $77,000 from her over 3.5 years by threatening to evict her if she didn't pay rent. That's not helping. That's fraud. That's theft. That's financial abuse. Carol looked at me, really looked at me. Her eyes were wet. Maisie, please. We can fix this. Family doesn't... We're not family anymore. The words came out cold, final, and I meant them. My mother reached across the table toward me. Maisie, don't do this. Think about what this will do to us. Think about Sophie. She needs her grandmother. I picked up Sophie. She wrapped her arms around my neck and buried her face in my shoulder. Sophie needs safety, I said. She doesn't need you. I walked past Daniel, past the table, past Austin, who was sitting with his head in his hands. I walked out the front door with my daughter in my arms. Behind me, I heard my mother start to cry. I didn't look back. I need to tell you how I got to that point. How I ended up believing I owed them anything at all. Let me go back to the beginning. September 2020. Nathan and I had been married for a year. I was 24, working my second year as a teacher. He was 27, running his own contracting business. We'd been trying to start a family, and I just found out I was pregnant. Nathan came home one afternoon with papers in his hand and the biggest smile on his face. I bought us a house. I stared at him. You what? I bought us a house. Well, I put it in your name. It's yours. He spread the papers on our kitchen table. A deed. Purchase documents. The address was in a suburb south of Seattle, a small 3-bedroom with a yard for the baby. How did you— My dad's life insurance finally came through. $150,000. I combined it with our savings and put down enough to keep the mortgage low. I wanted to do this before the baby came. I wanted you to have something that's yours, something nobody can take away. I'd cried. Nathan had held me. We'd gone to look at the house the next day, and I'd fallen in love with it immediately. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours. We closed 2 weeks later. I signed the deed. Maisie Lynn Preston, sole owner. Nathan explained it to me. If anything ever happens to me, you're protected. The house is in your name. My life insurance will pay off any debts. You and the baby will be safe. I'd laughed and told him nothing was going to happen to him. He was young, healthy, strong. Sophie was born in November 2020. Nathan cried when he held her for the first time. We brought her home to that house. Our house. For 5 months, we were happy. Then, April 2021 came. Nathan started feeling sick on a Tuesday. Fever, cough, exhaustion. We both thought it was a cold. But by Thursday, he couldn't breathe properly. I took him to the ER. They admitted him immediately. COVID. His oxygen levels were dropping. I sat outside his room for 9 days, wearing a mask, watching him through the glass. Sophie was with my mother. I couldn't bring her to the hospital. All I could do was watch Nathan disappear behind machines and tubes. On day 11, a doctor came out. Her eyes were tired. I'm so sorry. We did everything we could. Nathan died on April 23, 2021. He was 32 years old. The funeral was small. COVID restrictions were still in place. I don't remember much about it. I remember holding Sophie and feeling like I'd been hollowed out. Like someone had reached inside me and removed everything vital and left only the shell. My mother came up to me after the service. Come stay with me. You can't be alone right now. I shook my head. I have the house. Nathan's house. Our house. Honey, you need family. You need help. You can't take care of a baby by yourself in this state. She was right. I was barely functioning. I couldn't remember if I'd eaten. I couldn't remember if I'd showered. Everything felt gray and distant and wrong. Just for a little while, my mother said, until you're back on your feet. So in May 2021, I packed up our things and moved in with her. It was supposed to be temporary. At first, she was kind. She held Sophie while I cried. She cooked meals I barely touched. She told me to take my time, to grieve, to heal. But one day in June, I was going through boxes looking for Sophie's birth certificate. I needed it for daycare enrollment. I asked my mother, "Do you know where the papers are from the house Nathan bought? The deed and closing documents?" She looked at me strangely. What house? The house Nathan bought, in September. The one in his dad's name that got transferred to me. My mother shook her head slowly. Honey, Nathan never bought you a house. He talked about it, sure. He wanted to. But he died before he could. I tried to remember. But grief had made everything foggy. I remembered signing papers. I remembered a closing. But I also remembered Nathan talking about wanting to buy a house someday. Had he bought it? Or had he only planned to? This house is mine, my mother said gently. I bought it in 2018, after your father died. It made sense. My father had died in 2015. My mother had been alone. She'd probably downsized, bought something smaller. Are you sure? I asked. I'm sure, sweetheart. I think the grief is making you remember things that didn't happen. It's okay. It's normal. I didn't push. I believed her. That was my first mistake. In July, she asked me to sign some paperwork. Insurance stuff, she said, handing me a pen. Just formalities. making sure you and Sophie are listed as beneficiaries on my policies. I signed without reading. I was still in the fog, still trying to figure out how to exist without Nathan. Later that month, she mentioned she was refinancing. "Interest rates are good right now," she said. "I'm lowering my mortgage payment." I nodded. I didn't think anything of it. By September 2021, I was back at work. School had started. I was teaching second grade, same as before. But everything felt different. Harder. Like I was moving through water. My mother sat me down one evening after I'd put Sophie to bed. "Maisie, you've been here 4 months now. I think it's time we talked about finances." "Okay. You're working. You're getting a paycheck. I think it's fair that you contribute to the household. I need help covering the mortgage." My stomach tightened. "How much?" $18.50 a month. That's what I pay the bank." I did the math in my head. My take-home pay was about $3,600 a month. Daycare was $1,800. If I paid my mother $18.50, that left me with almost nothing. But what choice did I have? Apartments in Seattle cost $2,500 or more. This was actually cheaper. "Okay," I said. "I can do that." "Good." My mother smiled. "I knew you'd understand. Family helps family." I set up the automatic payment that night. Every month on the 30th, $1,850 went from my checking account to hers. I always added a note. "Mortgage. Thank you, Mom." I paid her for 42 months. I worked summer school every year to make extra money. $420 a week for 6 weeks. It helped. I donated plasma twice a week. $50 a donation. That was another $400 a month. How? I skipped lunch at school most days. Saved $10, 5 days a week, $200 a month. I bought Sophie's clothes at Goodwill. I drove a 2015 Toyota Camry that Nathan had bought used in 2019. The check engine light had been on for 2 years, but I couldn't afford to fix it. Nathan's life insurance. The $180,000 that was supposed to be Sophie's future. I'd been using it to fill the gaps. $500 here, $1,000 there. By early 2026, I'd spent over $100,000 of it, and I still thought I was lucky, because my mother kept telling me, "You have no idea how good you have it. Rent in Seattle is $3,000. I'm saving you a fortune." I believed her. Then January 2026 came. Sophie was 5 years old. She'd just started kindergarten in the fall. She was outgrowing everything. Her shoes, her clothes, her toys. I decided to clean out the basement to make more storage space. I found boxes I'd packed in May 2021 when I moved in. Boxes I'd never unpacked because opening them meant facing Nathan's things, and I hadn't been ready. One box was labeled in Nathan's handwriting. "Nathan. Important." Inside was a fireproof document box, the kind with a combination lock. I tried Sophie's birthday, November 11th to 20th. November 20th. It opened. Inside, Nathan's will. His life insurance policy documents, photos from our wedding, and underneath everything, a manila envelope. I pulled it out. Inside was a deed, legal description for a property, an address I recognized. This address, the house I was living in. Grantee, Maisie Lynn Preston. Grantor, Nathan James Preston. Date, September 18th, 2020. Recorded with King County, September 22nd, 2020. I sat on the basement floor and stared at it. My hands were shaking. This was the deed Nathan had told me about. The house he'd bought me. The house my mother said didn't exist. It did exist. And it was mine. I carried the box upstairs. My mother was at work. Sophie was at school. I was alone. I spread everything out on the kitchen table. The deed. The purchase documents. Nathan's will. which specifically mentioned the house located at address, sole property of Maisie Lynn Preston. Then I went to my bedroom and found the file folder my mother had given me back in 2021, the mortgage papers she'd shown me to prove I needed to pay rent. I pulled them out and looked at the signature on the bottom. Then I looked at the signature on the deed. They were different, not similar, not close, different. The slant was wrong. The loops in the M were wrong. The way the letters connected was wrong. Someone had tried to forge my signature, and they'd done it badly. I took both documents to the kitchen. I laid them side by side under the brightest light I had. There was no question. These signatures were not written by the same person. My heart was pounding. I pulled out my phone and Googled forged signature on property deed. The first result was an article about quitclaim deed fraud. I clicked it. The article explained that quitclaim deeds are often used in fraud because they require less verification. If someone forges your signature on a quitclaim deed and files it with the county, the property can be transferred out of your name, and you might never know until you try to sell or refinance. I logged into the King County Recorder's Office website. I'd never looked at it before. I'd never had a reason to. I searched the property address. 2 deeds appeared. The first, September 22nd, 2020. Grantor, Nathan James Preston. Grantee, Maisie Lynn Preston. Purchase price, $285,000. The second, July 22nd, 2021. Grantor, Maisie Lynn Preston. Grantee, Carol Ann Preston. Purchase price, $0. Quitclaim deed, family transfer. I clicked on the second deed and downloaded the PDF. The signature at the bottom was the same fake signature from the mortgage papers. I'd never signed this deed. I'd never transferred this house to my mother. I'd never even seen this document before. But according to King County, I had. And 2 weeks after that fraudulent deed was filed, my mother had taken out a mortgage, $120,000, on my house. Then she'd told me I owed her rent. I sat at that table until 2 in the morning. Sophie was asleep upstairs. I had both deeds in front of me. I had my bank statements showing every payment. Every $1,850 I'd sent to my mother with notes like mortgage, thank you, and house payment and rent. I pulled up the calculator on my phone. $1,850 times 42 months equals $77,700. $77,700. I had paid my mother nearly $80,000 to live in my own house. The house my dead husband had bought me. The house I'd owned since September 2020. My mother had stolen it from me by forging my signature. Then she'd made me pay her for it for 3.5 years. I took photos of everything. The original deed, the forged deed, the county records, my bank statements, the mortgage papers with the fake signature. Then I called a lawyer. Her name was Jennifer Caldwell. I met with her the first week of February. I brought everything. She spread it out on her desk and studied it for a long time. Finally, she looked up at me. This is mortgage fraud. This is identity theft. We need to file a police report immediately. What if I'm wrong? Jennifer shook her head. She held up both signatures. You're not wrong. These don't even look similar. Your mother forged your signature, transferred your house into her name, took out a mortgage on it, and has been collecting rent from you for over 3 years. She paused. If your brother benefited from that mortgage money, he's complicit too. He did, I said quietly. She gave him $80,000 in August 2021. He bought a condo with it. Jennifer made a note. We can trace that. If he bought property with proceeds of fraud, we can place a lien on it. What happens to my mother? If you press charges, she's looking at 5 to 10 years in prison, possibly more if the DA decides to stack charges. I looked at the pile of documents on Jennifer's desk. I thought about the plasma donations, the skipped lunches, Sophie's secondhand clothes, the nights I'd cried because I didn't know how I was going to make it to the end of the month. I want to press charges. On March 8, 2026, I filed a police report. Detective Alan Briggs took my statement. He was kind, patient. When I told him how long I'd been paying rent, he said, "Jesus Christ." He referred me to Daniel Whitmore, the forensic document examiner. Daniel came to the house a few days later. He photographed both signatures under different lights. He used specialized equipment to analyze pressure points and stroke patterns. His report took 10 days. When it came back, it was 12 pages long. The conclusion was clear. The signature on the July 2021 quitclaim deed is not consistent with Maisie Lynn Preston's known signature exemplars. Forgery is confirmed with high certainty. Jennifer subpoenaed Austin's bank records. When they came through, the story became even clearer. August 15, 2021. Deposit of $80,000 from Carol Preston. Memo. Family loan. November 2023. Payment of $35,000 to Pacific Northwest Title Company for condo down payment. Between 2021 and 2023. $42,000 in cryptocurrency exchange transfers. All losses. Credit card payments. $28,000. My brother had received $80,000 1 month after my mother committed fraud. He'd spent it on a condo, on crypto gambling, on paying off debts. He knew, maybe not at first, but by 2023, when he was living in a condo purchased with stolen money, he had to know something was wrong. Jennifer, Daniel, Detective Briggs and I met on April 10th to plan the confrontation. "We want to see her reaction," Briggs said. "If she admits it, we might get a plea deal. If she denies everything, we go to trial." "There's a family dinner on Sunday," I said. "My mother's been demanding I come. She wants me to help Austin with his mortgage." Daniel nodded. "That's perfect. I'll come at 7:30, right in the middle of dinner." "What if things get violent before you arrive?" "Text me 911, I'll be around the corner. I can be there in 30 seconds. Jennifer leaned forward. "Are you sure you want to do this, Maisie? Once we start this process, there's no going back. Your family will never forgive you." I thought about Sophie, about the way my mother had called her a parasite, about the hand raised to slap me. "They already made that choice," I said. "So that's what we did." Sunday, April 14th. I drove to that dinner knowing exactly what was going to happen. I'd dressed Sophie in her purple dress. I'd left the front door unlocked. I'd texted Daniel at 7:15. And when my mother raised her hand to slap me at 7:29, Daniel walked through that door right on schedule. Now I'm sitting in my car outside the Hampton Inn with Sophie asleep in her car seat. It's 9:47 p.m. My phone has been buzzing nonstop for the past hour. I pull it out and look at the screen. 17 missed calls from my mother. 23 text messages. 6 voicemails. I don't listen to the voicemails, but I scroll through the texts. "Maisie, please call me back. We need to talk about this. You're making a terrible mistake. Think about what you're doing to this family. I can explain everything. Don't do this to your mother. Austin is devastated. You're destroying him. Sophie needs her grandmother. Don't take her away from me. I never meant to hurt you. Please, I'm begging you." I turn off my phone. Inside the hotel room, I carry Sophie to the bed without waking her. I take off her purple dress and put her in pajamas. She stirs but doesn't wake up. I sit on the edge of the bed and watch her sleep. She looks so much like Nathan. The same nose. The same way her mouth curves when she dreams. I think about what Nathan said when he bought the house. "I wanted you to have something that's yours. Something nobody can take away." He'd tried to protect us, and my mother had stolen it anyway. I don't cry. I'm too angry to cry. Too exhausted. I lie down next to Sophie and close my eyes. Tomorrow, everything starts. The next morning, April 15th, I wake up to my phone buzzing. I'd turned it back on to set an alarm. It's Jennifer. Maisie, Detective Briggs wants to meet with us this morning. Can you come to my office at 10? What happened? Your mother tried to call him last night, 5 times. She left voicemails asking him to reconsider and think about the family. Briggs wants to move forward quickly before she tries to destroy evidence. I'll be there. I drop Sophie off at school and drive to Jennifer's office. It's a small firm in downtown Seattle, 3 blocks from the courthouse. Detective Briggs is already there when I arrive. So is Daniel. They're sitting at Jennifer's conference table with files spread out in front of them. Mrs. Preston, Briggs says. He stands and shakes my hand. How are you holding up? I'm okay. Good. Because we're filing charges today. The prosecutor's office has reviewed Daniel's forensic report and your bank statements. They're confident they can prove mortgage fraud, forgery, and identity theft. Jennifer pulls out a document. These are the charging documents. They'll be filed this afternoon. Your mother will be arrested within 48 hours. I look at the papers. I see my mother's name, Carol Ann Preston, D.O.B., February 14th, 1965. Charges: 3 felony counts. What about Austin? We're still building the case against him, Jennifer says. We can prove he received $80,000 from your mother 1 month after the fraud. We can prove he used it to buy a condo. What we need to establish is whether he knew the money was from a fraudulent source. He knew. Can you prove it? I think back. He co-signed a loan with me in 2023. He asked me to help him because family helps family. He knew I was barely scraping by. He knew I was paying my mother rent. He never once suggested that something was wrong with that. He never asked why I was paying rent on a house that supposedly wasn't mine. Briggs makes a note. That's circumstantial, but it helps build the picture. Daniel leans forward. I need to ask you something, Maisie. When your mother asked you to sign those papers in July 2021, the ones she said were insurance documents, do you remember if anyone witnessed your signature? I don't think so. She just handed me a pen and paper. So it was just you and her? Yes. That's going to be a problem for her, Daniel says. In Washington state, quitclaim deeds require notarization. The notary is supposed to verify the identity of the person signing. If your mother forged your signature and then got a notary to certify it, that notary is in trouble too. Jennifer nods. We've already subpoenaed the notary records. The deed was notarized by someone named Trevor Simmons. He works at a mail center in Renton. That's Austin's friend, I say suddenly. From high school. I remember Austin mentioning him. Briggs and Jennifer look at each other. That connects Austin directly to the fraud, Jennifer says. If he helped arrange the notary, he's not just complicit, he's a co-conspirator. My hands are shaking. I put them in my lap. So what happens now? Now we wait, Briggs says. The charges will be filed today. Your mother will be notified. She'll have to turn herself in, or we'll issue a warrant. Either way, she'll be arrested, booked, and arraigned. Bail will probably be set at $50,000 to $100,000. Can she make bail? Depends on her assets. Does she own anything outright? I don't know. We'll find out. Jennifer closes the file folder. In the meantime, I'm filing an emergency motion to void the fraudulent deed and restore the property to your name. The judge should sign it within a week. And then what? Then the house is legally yours again. Your mother's mortgage, the $120,000 she borrowed, that's her problem, not yours. The bank can't hold you responsible for a loan taken out on a fraudulently transferred property. I take a deep breath. So I get my house back. You get your house back? Jennifer confirms. And your mother goes to prison. The charges are filed at 3:22 p.m. on April 15th. I know because Detective Briggs texts me. Done. She'll be notified by 5 p.m. I'm at school when I get the text. I'm in the middle of reading Charlotte's Web to my second graders. I have to pause and take a breath before I can continue. After school, I pick up Sophie and drive back to the house. My house. The house my mother stole. Her car is in the driveway. I park on the street and sit there for a minute, staring at it. Sophie is in the back seat playing with her tablet. "Is that Grandma's car?" she asks. "Yes, baby." "Are we going inside?" "Yes, but we're going to pack some things first, okay? We're going to stay somewhere else for a little while." "Why?" "Because it's safer." I don't know if my mother is inside or if she just left her car here. I don't know if she's been served with the charges yet. I don't know what state she's in. I call Jennifer. "She's at the house," I say. "Okay, don't go inside. I'm calling Detective Briggs right now. He'll send a patrol car. I need to get our things." "Wait for the police." I wait in the car with Sophie for 20 minutes. Then a Seattle PD patrol car pulls up. 2 officers get out. I recognize one of them, Officer Chen. She came to my school last year to talk to the kids about safety. "Ms. Preston?" "That's me. Detective Briggs asked us to do a welfare check. Is anyone inside?" "I think my mother might be." "Okay, stay here." The officers go to the front door. One of them knocks. "Seattle Police. We need to speak with Carol Preston." The door opens. My mother is standing there. She looks smaller than she did last night. Older. Her eyes are red. The officers talk to her quietly. I can't hear what they're saying. After a few minutes, one of them comes back to my car. "Ms. Preston, your mother has agreed to leave the premises for 24 hours. You're free to go inside and collect your belongings. We'll stay here until she's gone." "Thank you." My mother walks to her car. She doesn't look at me. She gets in, starts the engine, and drives away. Officer Chen stays while I go inside with Sophie. I pack quickly. Clothes, Sophie's favorite toys, toiletries, important documents. I grab the fireproof box with Nathan's papers. We're out in 30 minutes. "Where are we going, Mommy?" Sophie asks as I load suitcases into the car. "Hotel again tonight. Then tomorrow, we're coming home." "Really home?" "Really home." That night my phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize. I answer. "Maisie." It's Austin. His voice is rough, desperate. "What the hell are you doing?" "I'm taking back what's mine. You're destroying this family. Mom's been arrested. Do you know what that's going to do to her? She's 61 years old. She can't go to prison." She should have thought about that before she forged my signature. It was a mistake. She was trying to help. She was trying to help herself. And you. She gave you $80,000, Austin. $80,000 that came from a fraudulent mortgage on my house. Silence. "I didn't know," he says finally. "Yes, you did. Maybe not in 2021, but by 2023, when you were living in that condo, you knew. And you said nothing. You watched me donate plasma. You watched me skip meals. You called me selfish when I couldn't help you anymore. You knew, Austin. Maisie, please. If you drop the charges..." "I'm not dropping the charges. Think about Sophie. She needs her family. She needs her grandmother and her uncle. Sophie needs safety. She needs a mother who doesn't let people abuse her. And that's what you and Mom were doing. For years. You were using me, taking from me, making me think I owed you when I didn't owe you anything. We're family. No, we're not. Not anymore." I hang up. He calls back 3 times. I don't answer. Then my mother calls. I answer that one. "Maisie." Her voice is shaking. "Please. You have to understand. I was scared. After your father died, I had so much debt. I needed money. And when Nathan died and you were so broken, I thought if I could just have the house, I could refinance it and get back on my feet. I was going to tell you. I swear I was. But then you started paying rent and it was helping, and I thought it was okay. You thought it was okay to forge my signature? To steal my house? To make me pay you $77,000 over 3 years? I never meant to hurt you. You raised your hand to hit me, in front of my daughter. You called her a parasite. My mother starts crying. I was angry. I didn't mean it. Sophie is my granddaughter. I love her. You have a restraining order. You're not allowed to contact me. If you call again, I'm reporting it to Detective Briggs. Maisie, please. I hang up. She doesn't call back. April 16th. Jennifer calls me at 7:30 a.m. The judge signed the emergency motion. The fraudulent deed has been voided. The corrective deed will be recorded today. As of this afternoon, the property will be legally in your name again. I start crying. I don't mean to. It just happens. Thank you, I managed to say. You're welcome. There's more. Your mother was arraigned this morning. Bail was set at $75,000. She couldn't make it. She's being held at King County Jail until trial. When's the trial? Probably not for 6 months, but the prosecutor is already working on a plea deal. If your mother pleads guilty, she'll get 18 months in minimum security prison, 5 years probation, and she'll be required to pay full restitution, $77,700 plus $50,000 in damages. Will she take it? Her lawyer would be an idiot not to recommend it. If this goes to trial and she loses, she's looking at 8 to 10 years. I wipe my eyes. Sophie is still asleep in the hotel bed next to me. What about Austin? We're still building the case, but I have good news. The notary who certified the forged deed, Trevor Simmons, he's cooperating. He admitted that Austin asked him to notarize the deed as a favor. Austin told him you'd already signed it but couldn't come in person because you had a sick baby. Trevor didn't verify your identity. He just stamped it. So Austin helped her? Yes. Which means we can charge him as an accessory. His lawyer knows this. I expect he'll want to make a deal too. What kind of deal? Probably testify against your mother in exchange for no jail time, but we'll place a lien on his condo. When it sells, the proceeds will go toward your restitution. How long will that take? 6 to 12 months, but the court will order your mother to start paying you immediately through wage garnishment. She gets Social Security, about $1,800 a month. The court can garnish up to 15%. That's $270 a month. It'll take years to pay off the full amount, but at least it's something. I do the math in my head. At $270 a month, it would take over 23 years to pay back $77,700. But it's not about the money anymore. It's about the principle. It's about making sure they can never do this to anyone else. Okay, I say. There's one more thing, Jennifer says. The prosecutor's office is also filing charges against Austin for fraud and conspiracy. He'll be arrested today or tomorrow. I close my eyes. Part of me feels guilty. He's my brother. We grew up together. We used to be close. But then I remember him calling Sophie a drain. Remember him calling me selfish. Remember him taking $80,000 and spending it on crypto and a condo while I was donating plasma to survive. Good, I say. I take Sophie to school that morning, then drive to the house. My house. The corrective deed has been recorded. Jennifer texted me a copy. It's official now. Owner, Maisie Lynn Preston. I stand in the driveway and look at it. The house Nathan bought me. The house I'd owned all along. I unlock the front door and walk inside. My mother's things are still here. Her clothes in the closet, her dishes in the cabinets. But I don't care about those. I'll pack them up later. Right now, I just want to stand in this living room and feel what it's like to know it's mine. I walk through each room. The kitchen where I used to make Sophie breakfast. The bedroom where we slept. Sophie's room with her toys and her small bed. I end up in Nathan's old office. He'd set it up as a workspace when we first moved in. There's still a desk here, a bookshelf. I sit at the desk and cry. Not sad tears, relief tears, exhaustion tears. Tears for everything I've been through. Tears for Nathan, who tried so hard to protect us. Tears for the 5 years I spent thinking I didn't deserve this. My phone buzzes. It's Detective Briggs. Austin Preston was arrested at 9:15 this morning. He's being held on $5,000 bail. He made it. He'll be out by noon. Okay. How are you doing? I'm at the house. My house. Good. That's where you should be. He pauses. Maisie, I've been doing this job for 23 years. I've seen a lot of financial abuse cases. What your mother did to you? It's one of the worst I've seen. Not because of the amount of money, but because of how long it went on. How she manipulated you. How she used your grief against you. I don't know what to say to that. You did the right thing, he says. I know it doesn't feel like it right now. I know you probably feel guilty. But you did the right thing. Thank you. Take care of yourself. And that little girl. I will. That afternoon, I get a call from a number I don't recognize. I almost don't answer. But something makes me pick up. Is this Maisie Preston? A woman's voice. Yes, this is Linda Morrison. I'm a reporter with the Seattle Times. I'm writing a story about real estate fraud, and I understand you recently filed charges against your mother for forging your signature on a property deed. I was hoping I could ask you some questions. My stomach drops. How did you know about that? Court records are public. Your case was flagged because of the dollar amount involved and the family relationship. I don't want to talk to a reporter. I understand. But I think your story could help other people. There are a lot of families out there where this kind of financial abuse happens. If you're willing to talk, I'm not. Please don't call me again. I hang up. But the damage is done. The story is going to come out whether I talk or not. 2 days later, the article runs. The headline, Seattle woman discovers mother forged deed, stole house, collected rent for 3 years. They don't use my name, but they use enough details that anyone who knows me could figure it out. The article includes quotes from Jennifer about how common quitclaim deed fraud is, quotes from Detective Briggs about financial elder abuse, except in this case, it's the elder abusing the younger family member. And at the bottom, a quote from my mother's lawyer. Ms. Preston deeply regrets any confusion or misunderstanding. This is a private family matter that should have been resolved outside the court system. I read that line 3 times. Confusion, misunderstanding, private family matter. That's what they're calling it. Not fraud, not theft, not forgery. A misunderstanding. I throw my phone across the room. Sophie picks up my phone from where it landed on the carpet. She brings it to me. Mommy, why did you throw your phone? I take it from her and check the screen. Not cracked. Lucky. I'm sorry, baby. Mommy got upset. About Grandma? I look at my daughter. She's 5 years old. She shouldn't have to understand any of this, but she does. She was there. She saw it all. Yes. About Grandma. Sophie climbs into my lap. Is Grandma going to say sorry? I don't know. She should say sorry. She was mean to you. I hold her close. You're right. She was. Are we staying here now? In this house? Yes. This is our house. It was always our house, and nobody can take it away from us. Sophie looks around the living room. Can we paint my room? What color? Purple, like my dress, and clouds, white clouds on the ceiling. I smile. It's the first real smile I've had in days. Yeah, baby. We can do that. The next week passes in a blur. Jennifer calls on April 22nd. Your mother took the plea deal. She pleaded guilty this morning. Sentencing is scheduled for April 30th. What about Austin? He took a deal too. He testified against your mother in exchange for probation and no jail time, but the lien on his condo stands. It'll be foreclosed on within 6 months. The proceeds will go toward your restitution. So he loses the condo. Yes. And his credit will be destroyed. He won't be able to get another mortgage for years. I should feel satisfied. But mostly, I just feel tired. What happens at the sentencing? The judge will formally accept the plea and impose the sentence: 18 months in prison, 5 years probation, full restitution. You have the right to give a victim impact statement if you want. Will my mother be there? Yes. I think about it. Standing in front of a judge, in front of my mother. Telling the court what she did to me, what it cost me. I'll do it. April 30th. The courthouse is downtown Seattle, a gray building with too many stairs. Jennifer meets me outside. Are you ready? No, but I'm doing it anyway. Inside, the courtroom is smaller than I expected. There are wooden benches, a judge's bench, a witness stand. My mother is already there, sitting at a table with her lawyer. She's wearing an orange jumpsuit. Her hair is grayer than I remember. She doesn't look at me when I walk in. The judge is a woman in her 50s with sharp eyes and reading glasses on a chain. Judge Patricia Huang. Jennifer told me she has a reputation for being tough on white-collar crime. All rise. We stand. The judge enters. We sit. The proceedings start. The charges are read aloud: mortgage fraud, forgery, identity theft. My mother pleads guilty to all 3. Then the judge asks, "Does the victim wish to make a statement?" Jennifer nods at me. I stand up. My legs are shaking. I walk to the witness stand. A bailiff swears me in. I look at the judge. Not at my mother. If I look at her, I'll lose my nerve. My name is Maisie Preston. I'm 29 years old. I'm a second-grade teacher. I'm a widow. And I'm a mother to a 5-year-old daughter. My voice is steady, calm, the way I've practiced. In April 2021, my husband died of COVID. He was 32 years old. We'd been married for 2 years. We had a 5-month-old baby. I was destroyed. I didn't know how to function. My mother offered to help. She told me to move in with her. She said it was temporary. Just until I got back on my feet. I take a breath. What I didn't know was that my husband had bought me a house 6 months before he died. He'd put it in my name. It was supposed to be my safety net. Something that nobody could take away from me. I can see my mother's shoulders shaking. She's crying. I don't care. In July 2021, while I was grieving, my mother forged my signature on a quitclaim deed. She transferred my house into her name. Then, she took out a $120,000 mortgage on it. She gave $80,000 of that money to my brother. She kept the rest for herself. The judge is taking notes. In September 2021, my mother told me I needed to start paying rent. $1,850 a month. She said it was fair. She said I should be grateful she was only charging me that much. I believed her. So I paid. My voice cracks slightly. I clear my throat. I paid her every month for 3.5 years, 42 payments, $77,700. I worked 2 jobs. I donated plasma twice a week. I skipped meals. I bought my daughter's clothes at Goodwill. I spent my husband's life insurance money just trying to survive, and the entire time, I thought I was lucky. I thought my mother was helping me. I finally look at her. She won't meet my eyes. She wasn't helping me. She was stealing from me. She stole my house. She stole my money. She stole 5 years of security that my husband tried to give me. And when I finally discovered the truth and confronted her, she raised her hand to hit me in front of my daughter. The courtroom is silent. I don't know if my mother is sorry. I don't know if she understands what she did. But I know this. She destroyed our family. Not me. Her. And I want the court to know that. I step down. My legs are still shaking. Jennifer puts a hand on my shoulder as I sit down. The judge looks at my mother. Ms. Preston, do you have anything to say? My mother stands. Her lawyer stands with her. I'm sorry. Her voice is barely a whisper. I never meant to hurt her. I was scared. I made terrible decisions. I'm so sorry. The judge doesn't look impressed. Ms. Preston, you exploited your daughter during the most vulnerable time of her life. You forged legal documents. You committed fraud. You collected nearly $80,000 from a grieving widow while she worked herself to exhaustion. This wasn't a mistake. This was a pattern of calculated abuse that lasted for years. She pauses. I'm accepting the plea agreement, but I want to be clear. You're lucky you're not getting the maximum sentence. 18 months in prison, 5 years probation, full restitution of $77,700 plus $50,000 in damages. You will have no contact with Maisie Preston or her daughter for the duration of your probation. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. Bailiff, take her into custody. My mother is led out. She looks back at me once. I don't look away. Jennifer drives me home after. We don't talk much. There's not much to say. When I get home, Sophie is waiting with my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who'd agreed to watch her for the morning. How did it go? Mrs. Chen asks quietly. It's done. She gives me a hug. Good. That woman got what she deserved. After Mrs. Chen leaves, Sophie asks, Did you see Grandma? Yes. Did she say sorry? She did. Do you forgive her? I think about how to answer that. Because the truth is complicated. Not yet, baby. Maybe someday. But not yet. That's okay, Sophie says. You don't have to forgive people who hurt you. I stare at my daughter. She's 5 years old. Where did she learn that? You're right, I say. You don't. May 1st. I take the day off work. Sophie and I go to Home Depot and pick out paint. Lavender for the walls, white for the ceiling. She wants to paint clouds herself. We spend the afternoon covering her room in drop cloths. I teach her how to use a roller. She gets more paint on herself than on the walls, but she's laughing. Really laughing. We paint clouds on the ceiling together. They're messy and uneven and perfect. While the first coat dries, we sit on the floor eating peanut butter sandwiches. Mommy? Yeah, baby? Is this really our house now? Forever? Forever. And nobody can make us leave? Nobody. She smiles. Then she asks, Do you miss Grandma? I think about it. I miss who I thought she was. But that person wasn't real. Do you think she misses us? Maybe. If she says sorry for real, can she come back? I put down my sandwich and pull Sophie into my lap. Baby, I don't know. Maybe someday. But right now, we need to be safe. And being around Grandma isn't safe for us. Because she was mean. Yes. Because she was mean. And being family doesn't give someone permission to be mean to you. Sophie nods like she understands. And maybe she does. Kids are smarter than we give them credit for. That night, I tuck her into her freshly painted room. The clouds on the ceiling glow faintly in the dark from the nightlight. She's still in her old bed. We'll get new furniture later. But the room feels different. Lighter. Hers. Good night, baby. Mom night, Mommy. I love our house. Me too. I go to my own room and sit on the bed. I pull out the fireproof box Nathan left me. The deed is still inside. The original deed from September 2020. My name. Clear and legal and real. I trace Nathan's signature with my finger. We're okay, I whisper to him. Sophie and me, we're okay now. May 15th. 1 month since the dinner. 1 month since everything changed. The mail comes. There's an envelope from the King County Prosecutor's office. Inside is a check. $28,000. It's from the sale of Austin's condo. He couldn't keep up with the payments after the lien was placed. The bank foreclosed, the condo sold. After paying off Austin's mortgage and fees, this is what's left. $28,000 toward the $127,700 I'm owed. It's not everything. It's not even close. But it's something. I deposit the check. Then I open a 529 college savings account for Sophie and put $20,000 into it. The rest goes into an emergency fund. The money Nathan left us, his life insurance, is almost gone. But this is a start. A new start. My phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer. But I do. Maisie, it's Austin. I told you not to call me. I know. But I needed to tell you I'm sorry. I don't say anything. I didn't know, Maisie. Not at first. I swear. When Mom gave me that money in 2021, she told me it was from her refinance. I believed her. But later, his voice breaks. Later, I started to wonder, and I didn't ask. I should have asked. I should have checked. But I didn't because I didn't want to know. You let me donate plasma while you lived in a condo bought with stolen money. I know. You called me selfish when I couldn't help you anymore. I know. You knew, Austin. Maybe not every detail, but you knew something was wrong. And you said nothing. Silence. You're right, he says finally. I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just needed you to know that I'm sorry. Okay. Are you and Sophie okay? We're fine. If you ever need anything, I won't. I hang up. He doesn't call back. June. School is out for summer. Sophie and I spend our days at the house. Our house. We plant flowers in the front yard. Sunflowers because they're tall and bright and optimistic. Sophie waters them every morning. We get a new couch for the living room. Sophie picks it out. Navy blue with soft cushions. We hang photos on the walls. Photos of Nathan. Photos of Sophie as a baby. Photos of the two of us now. One afternoon, I'm in the kitchen making lunch when Sophie comes running in. Mommy, Mrs. Chen says there are new people moving in next door. Can we say hi? Sure, baby. We go outside. There's a moving truck in the driveway next door. A woman in her 30s is directing movers. She has a little boy, maybe 3 years old, holding her hand. Hi, I say. I'm Maisie. This is my daughter Sophie. We live next door. The woman smiles. I'm Rachel. This is my son Noah. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the neighborhood. Thanks. It's just the two of us. Noah's dad. She pauses. We're not together anymore. I understand. It's just Sophie and me too. My husband passed away a few years ago. I'm sorry. It's okay. We're doing all right now. Rachel smiles. It's nice to meet another single mom. Maybe our kids can play together sometime? I'd like that. Sophie and Noah are already eyeing each other shyly. They'll be friends within a week. I can tell. After we go back inside, Sophie says, I like Rachel. Me too. Do you think you'll ever get married again? The question catches me off guard. I don't know, baby. Maybe someday. Would that be okay with you? She thinks about it. Only if he's nice to you, and to me, and if he doesn't yell. That's a good rule. And he has to like our house. I laugh. Deal. Late June. I get a letter from the prison. It's from my mother. I almost throw it away without reading it. But something stops me. I open it. Dear Maisie, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I need you to know that I think about you and Sophie every day. I made terrible choices. I was scared after your father died. I had so much debt. I felt like I was drowning. And when Nathan died and you were so broken, I saw an opportunity. I told myself I was helping, that I'd pay you back eventually, that it wasn't really stealing because we were family, but it was stealing. It was worse than stealing because I stole from you when you trusted me most. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to let me back into your life. But I hope someday you can find peace. I hope you and Sophie are happy. I hope you know that Nathan would be proud of you for standing up for yourself. I'm sorry. For everything. Mom, I read it twice. Then I fold it up and put it in a drawer. I don't throw it away. But I don't respond either. Maybe someday I will. But not today. August. Sophie starts first grade. On her first day, she wears a new dress. Not from Goodwill. I bought it at Target. It's not expensive, but it's new, and she's so proud of it. I take a photo of her on the front steps. Our front steps. Our house. She's smiling so wide her eyes crinkle. Just like Nathan's used to. After I drop her off at school, I drive to the cemetery. I haven't been there in a while. Nathan's grave is in a quiet corner under a maple tree. The headstone is simple. Nathan James Preston, beloved husband and father. I sit on the grass next to it. Hi, I say quietly. I know I haven't been here in a while. I'm sorry. Things have been complicated. I tell him everything. About finding the deed, about the confrontation, about the trial, about getting the house back. You tried to protect us, I say. You bought that house and put it in my name so nobody could take it away. And for a while, I thought they had. But you were right. It was mine. It is mine. Nobody can take it away now. The wind picks up. The maple leaves rustle overhead. Sophie's doing great. She starts first grade today. She's so smart, Nathan. So strong. She looks just like you. Acts like you too. Stubborn and kind and brave. I wipe my eyes. I miss you. I'll always miss you. But we're okay now. We're safe. We're home. Thank you for giving us that. I stay for a while longer. Then I drive back to the house. Our house. If you're reading this, or listening to this, and you've ever felt trapped by family obligation, I want you to hear something. You don't owe them your future. You don't owe them your safety. You don't owe them forgiveness if they've spent years taking from you. Family is supposed to protect you, support you, lift you up when you're at your lowest. If they're doing the opposite, if they're using words like loyalty and obligation and we're family to pressure you into sacrificing yourself, check the paperwork, check the bank statements, check the property records, check the county website, check what you signed and when you signed it, because sometimes the people who say they're protecting you are the ones stealing from you. I found my proof in a fireproof box my husband left me. You might find yours in an email, or a filing cabinet, or buried in paperwork you've been too afraid to look at. Look at it. Take photos. Save copies. Hire a lawyer if you need to. File a police report if you have to. It's not about revenge. It's about safety. It's about making sure that when your child asks, "Is this really our home?" you can say yes and mean it. My daughter asked me that question 2 weeks after the trial. "Is this really our house, Mommy? Forever?" And I got to tell her yes. Nobody can take it away from us. Not my mother, not my brother, not anyone. It's ours. I locked the front door last night. My lock. My door. My house. Sophie was asleep upstairs in her lavender room with clouds on the ceiling. The deed was in my safe. The court orders were filed. The restitution was being paid. And for the first time since Nathan died, I felt like I could breathe. Not because I destroyed my family, but because I finally understood that protecting myself and my daughter didn't make me selfish. It made me a mother. Have you ever been in a situation where family demanded more than they deserved? Where they used guilt and obligation to take from you? Where you felt trapped by the word family. You're not alone. And you don't owe them anything. I'm Maisie Preston. I'm 29 years old. I'm a teacher. I'm a mother. I'm a widow. And I'm home.